Hello and welcome to another of Mrs. Kiely's art tutorial videos. Today's lesson is all about pencil crayons and the different artistic techniques that you can use when working with this media. So before we begin, go ahead and choose families of colors. I've chosen a yellow orange, a light, medium, and dark version of orange. And go ahead and test out your colors, mess around with them, see if they work well together. Let's go look at 3 different artistic techniques that are associated with pencil crayons. I'm only going to teach you 3 basic artistic techniques today that are associated with pencil crayons. They are layering, burnishing, and the last one is burnishing with white. Needless to say, you're going to need a white pencil crayon for when we get onto that step. And let's draw 3 boxes that we can color in using these different artistic techniques. Now understand that if you go and start searching different artistic techniques associated with pencil crayons, you're going to find a whole lot more than what I'm teaching right now in this video. But I've chosen these 3 because you don't have to go out and gather different supplies like rubbing alcohol or purchasing an expensive blending pencil crayon. I'm just working with the stuff that you probably have in your pencil crayons right here, right now. Let's begin. I'm going to start off with my oranges, and just over here I'm going to double check which one's my light, my medium, there they are, my dark. Okay, so I'm sure I got that. So layering is a time-consuming one, but you get a really nice effect of gradation, that principle of design. So take your lightest of your 3 pencil crayons, start at the top of the box, and gently, with a horizontal pencil stroke, color in the box from top to bottom. As you're coloring, I want you to take note of how the pigment, how the wax, the colored wax of the pencil crayon is put onto the paper. Paper is made up of wood fibers, all mashed up and processed and whatnot, and pressed out into what we have here in our sketchbooks. And if you look really closely, you can see that the wax pigment sits on the top highest points of the paper, but doesn't settle down into the deep valleys. So this is called the tooth of the page, and it's kind of like how rough is the paper, how smooth is the paper. And we're just using generic sketchbook paper, so we do see a little bit of the tooth of the page showing through. In all of these artistic techniques that we're learning, we're fighting against this tooth of the page. So we're going to be working the pigment into the paper properly. Take your medium color and start 1/3 of the way down the box and start extra light, very light pressure. We're building those fine motor skills in our hands to control how hard we press. And then as you move down the box, you can gradually increase the pressure. Not to the full force, but just a little harder than the beginning. With layering, the motto goes 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So I'm going to flip back to my light one and go all the way over again. This method is fantastic for trying to draw portraits of people, trying to get nice smooth transitions of colors. Oh, all right, this happens to everybody. See that? The little piece just came out. That's because these pencil crayons have been dropped, and within the wood container of the pencil crayon, the pigment has broken several times. So I'm just going to go sharpen that. All right, so after you've gone over it with your medium, take your darker one, start 1/3 of the way down the box, start off light pressure. You really don't want to see your pencil strokes in any kind of pencil crayon activity. So whichever method, technique you end up using, none of them should show your pencil strokes. Unless you're drawing fur or some kind of visual texture that has visible lines in it. So as you reach the bottom, you can be pushing quite hard. We want the bottom to be the darker color. There we go. And then, like I mentioned earlier, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Let's go back to our medium, and we're just blending it all together. Lovely transition, lovely gradation of color happening here. And we're working the wax, the color, into the microscopic fibers of the paper. And I'm going to go all the way right back up to my lightest one, finish it off. So yeah, this one definitely for con is time consuming, but the pro is you can't get a smoother gradation of color without layering. Look at that. That's lovely, like a little sunset. Sunset in a box. Okay, burnishing is our second one. And we're going to start with our lightest color, and we are going to go full pressure right off the bat. We're going to work the wax into the paper in our first run by. And we're going to stop at the 1/3 point, working the wax into the color, into the paper. Boom, move over to your medium one. This really shows if you chose good colors or not, whether they match. Layering, you can mix the colors in a sense so that they do blend nicely. Burnishing, sorry. You just hope you got the right pencil crayon. Okay, 1/3 of the way down, and then to your darkest one, full force. Please notice that you don't see pencil strokes. You don't see the strokes. So the gradation is not as smooth. The transition from light to medium to dark is not as smooth as this one. However, the color, the saturation, the brightness of the color is more vibrant in burnishing compared to layering. So they both have their pros and cons. Burnishing was way faster than layering as well. All right, so let's move over to the burnishing with white, our third one. And again, it's like a mashup, a mix-up of these two with a twist. So start off with layering all the way across the whole box, right to the bottom. Fill it in nicely, but don't color outside the lines. Boop, 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 boop. Nice. Go over to your medium one and gradually increase your pressure, just like with layering. And your third one. So we're going a lot faster. We're not working the color into the paper as much as we did with the layering. So this is probably where a lot of kids color in elementary school. They just, get it down real fast. Boom, done. And you can still see the tooth of the page. The color's there, it's great, it's colored in, but it's not really in the paper yet. It's not in those valleys between the high points of the paper. So you can take your white pencil crayon and now burnish with it. So push hard, and the wax of the white pencil crayon is going to pick up the colored wax of your first layers and push them and move them around, force them into the valleys of the paper. And it builds up that nice level of color. So we've got the gradation. Now the white does tend to take away the saturation of the color. So if you're going to stay true to the artistic technique and you want that white sheen, that's great. But if you still want to bring the vibrancy up, well, you can go back. I'm going to do half of it. I'm just going to do half the box. I'm going to go back over it with the original pencil crayon color. I can feel that there's a nice layer of wax on there, and I'm just adding to it. I'm going over the white. It's nice and smooth. I don't feel the grains of the paper anymore. And there you go. So you kind of get a before and after view with this box. It's up to you whether you want to do this. Again, I'm just showing you the tools and how to use them, but it's up to you as the artist to decide which ones are you going to use, where are you going to use them, and how. So there's the burnishing with white. The burnishing with white, and then I went over it a second time to bring up the saturation of the color a little bit more. All three have successfully covered the paper nicely. You can see a reflective sheen, the shine of the wax in the light. So all three of them are pretty good. I hope you enjoyed this video and learning a little bit more about how pencil crayons work and the different techniques associated with them. Please click on like and subscribe to my channel. There'll be more videos coming. Thanks for watching.